Hello! The last couple of weeks have been quite interesting. I'm currently working on one of the bookmarks for my Halloween shop launch, which is going to go live on Sunday, September 29th, but more on that later in the video. It's been a journey just getting to this point. Originally, I wanted to have all the bookmark designs done, and I wanted to show them off within this video. But let's just say, ever since I got back from my vacation, my ADHD has been dictating my every action, from hopping from one hyperfixation to the next, like just sitting for hours on end watching someone play some of the Resident Evil games, to even working on another project. Then, after the hyperfixations died down, the executive dysfunctioning took over, where basically it took hours to get myself to start a new task. It even got so bad that I delayed working on this bookmark because I didn't know what I wanted to watch/listen to while I was working. I was bouncing between playing Genshin Impact's Natland Archon quest, as I've yet to complete that, to watching videos about Instagram's algorithm, as I wanted to regularly post over there, to just listening to music, but more specifically Epic the Musical, as the Wisdom Saga just dropped. So for a good couple of hours I just sat there trying to get myself just to pick one of them so that I could start drawing, which is also the reason why this video was delayed, because of course I started drawing the bookmark at the very last possible second, which meant that I couldn't finish it by the time that I needed to start editing this video. Having ADHD is so fun sometimes, but it's a part of me, so I have to learn to work with it and not against it. Learn when I'm in a hyperfixation or when executive dysfunctioning starts taking control and how to navigate it. I've been on this journey for a few years now after going undiagnosed my entire childhood. I've done a lot of work to get myself to this point, though I still have a long way to go. With all of that being said, I'm hoping that next week's video is going to be filled with all of my finished bookmark designs and that the video will also be posted on time as well. But it's also okay if things don't go as planned. If I only get half of the bookmarks finished, or if the video goes up a day late. Because even if I don't finish my end goal, I still made progress towards it, and that's what matters in the end. Anyway, without a further ado, let's talk about the current bookmark that I'm working on. I decided to start with the pumpkins and vine pattern, as not only was it the first design that I came up with, but it was also the one that was the most fleshed out, which is the best place to start, especially when I'm having difficulty just starting on the project. The more straightforward the task is, the easier it is to tackle. I started with roughly sketching out the pumpkins, and then I would move them around my template. I created the template that way then all of my bookmarks are the same size, but it's also so that I could create a bleed. The way that I create my bookmarks is by sticking my sticker paper onto a piece of cardstock. However, once it's placed, there is no getting it off. Any designs that have to be centered takes me a while to make, as I have to make sure that everything is straight, because if it's not, then you can tell. However, any designs that are patterned, like this bookmark, there's room for a bit of error, either on my side or the cutting machine. Things don't have to be as straight as they need to be, though I still do take my time with lining up everything and getting everything perfect, but if it's off by a little bit, no one can tell, which is the main reason for the bleed. Once I had everything where I liked it, it was time to create the vines and leaves. With the leaves, I ended up just drawing one and duplicating it. Then I placed the leaves where I wanted them. I did this so that I could get an idea of where and how many I wanted. However, because I was constantly rotating them, they got quite pixelated and hard to see by the end, so I ended up going over them. Though that's not the only reason why. I also wanted every leaf to be just a little bit different from the others. And after all that, I ended up going back again and scaling each leaf up or down, so that way that there's a variety of sizes. And in all honesty, even though that I didn't set out to do this, but the entire bookmark has that theme of everything being slightly different from each other. From the way that the pumpkins were drawn to the leaves, even the colors that I used for the shadows and highlights. Nothing on this bookmark was ever copied or pasted. Everything is unique. I ended up playing around with colors I was thinking of using off camera. Originally, I was going to go with a bit more of a pastel look. However, I ended up ditching that idea a bit as the pumpkins looked a little too much like peaches and the vines looked a little off. I still kept a bit of the pastel look, but I went with colors that were a bit more closer to the source material. I was also constantly changing the color of the background as I wanted something to complement the orange pumpkins, like either a darker orange color or a red. However, it took me a while to find a color that I liked, as everything that I tried looked too closely to that of dirt. And though I did toggle with the idea of keeping the background looking like dirt, I ended up deciding against it as it felt like it didn't complement the design that well. Speaking of colors, I really love how the pumpkins turned out. I also really love the line effect that I ended up doing on all of the pumpkins, as I think that it makes them look a little bit more real. Well, as close to real looking as a cartoon pumpkin can get. No real pumpkin is perfectly round or smooth, and they have all kinds of ridges, so it just felt off when my pumpkins were looking a little too close to perfect. And now it comes time to add the highlights and shadows to the vine, which was fun to say the least. I tried so many different ways to add the shadows and highlights, like adding the highlights to the middle of the vine and then the shadows along the edges, but once everything was blended and I zoomed out, it just didn't look quite right. So then I tried putting the highlights and the shadows in only a few areas of the vine, blended that out, and you guessed it, it still didn't look quite right. So I gave up and went on to rendering the leaves. Going into this, I didn't have a plan. I didn't know if I wanted the shadows to be on the top of the leaves and the highlights to be on the bottom, or if I wanted shadows to be on the side of the leaves and the highlights to be in the middle. So I ended up playing around with it on a few different leaves, and I came to the conclusion that I liked my first idea. Having the highlights in the middle and the shadows on the side made the leaf look almost striped, and I really hate how that looked. So with the decision being made, I got to coloring every single leaf. While I'm doing that, I want to talk about the date for my shop launch. It's going to be on Sunday, September 29th. I'm not 100% sure what time my Halloween launch will be going live, so I'll announce that closer to the date. If everything goes as planned, then I'm going to be working on and finishing all the bookmark designs first, and then moving on to the stickers. I'm doing it this way as I don't have that many bookmarks on my shop, and I really want to take this opportunity to add more, instead of spending all of my time adding more stickers to my ever-growing collection. As for the girl wearing the pumpkin head art print, I am so sorry, but I doubt that I'm going to be able to get it done, as I don't think that I'm going to have time, which really sucks as I was looking forward to working on that drawing. But in all honesty, I much rather have a variety of items to launch than spend all of my time only working on one product design, especially as I'm not planning on turning that art print into a sticker or a bookmark, which is the reason why I left it to the end despite knowing that it's going to take me the longest to draw. However, who knows, maybe my plans get turned upside down as I have to spontaneously drop everything to go work on a different project. If that ends up happening, then I at least have a few Halloween items, which is why I decided to have my shop launched on the 29th, as not only does it give me time to finish working on all those items, but if anything does happen, I still have enough time to at least print and cut out the items, take product photography, and list everything without putting too much stress on myself, which is also the reason why I'm doing my shop launch on a Sunday instead instead of Saturday, as I still want to get a Saturday video out for that week and I didn't want the launch to interfere with that. And those are my plans for the upcoming weeks. If you like this video, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up on your way out. And if you don't want to miss out on seeing the next bookmark and sticker design, then don't forget to subscribe. That way you'll be notified when that video comes out. So until then, see ya.